Good morning, gang. Happy Tuesday morning. Okay, we'll talk about your money again. Not where to put it, not what to do with it, about receiving it. About, 2 years ago, I guess it was, I did a deep dive into Social Security and just looking at my own statement and seeing how much I'm going to be screwed out of Social Security should it, as always, go broke, right? And I had figured that if Uncle Sam had just put my money in a standard savings account, didn't do anything fabulous, I'd have about $1 million more than I will feasibly collect in my life. Okay. Yeah, that's how much they've pissed away of it. And this goes all the way back to the Nixon administration when the Democrats decided to put the Social Security Trust Fund into the general fund. Okay. Now, if we take a look at the demographics of this channel, about a third of the people that watch this channel are over age 65. So, Social Security eligible. Probably somewhere around 40-ish% that are over 62. All right. Now, I'm not old enough to collect Social Security yet. I still got a few years to go. But according to my last Social Security statement, when I turn 62, I will be eligible to collect about $1,700 a month. Okay? So, I mean, if we do the math on that, that's what, about 20 grand a year? Whoop-de-doo, okay? Poverty level for sure. And hence the reason why, obviously, we talk about saving for our own retirement quite often. Talk about being out of debt, because ain't no way in the world if I'm bringing home $20,000 a year on Social Security, I still want to have a mortgage payment, right? But going back to what we hear about Social Security going broke, and we keep hearing 2030, 2032, it's always just a few years from now and Social Security is going to go broke. We hear the Democrats saying all the time, oh, the Republicans want to cut Social Security. Oh, they want to get rid of Social Security. No, okay, that's a bold-faced lie that they try to tell over and over to scare retirees. There's no truth whatsoever to they want to get rid of Social Security. Kinda. A lot of talk in the news lately about Elon Musk and DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, right? Finding all this waste that the government is pissing money away on. I mean, the $20 billion worth of gold bars that Joe Biden had hidden away. Isn't that fun, I mean, as I was saying the other day, 40 million here, 1.9 billion here. Until you go in to look at Social Security. And this is ridiculous, okay? We know there is massive fraud in the government. We know there's massive fraud perpetuated upon the government. I mean, I'm still waiting for them to go after Medicare and Medicaid and audit all that and see all these doctors and hospitals and everything that are defrauding Medicaid. We hear some stories sometimes, but I'm waiting to find out when the other shoe drops, the hundreds of billions of dollars that Medicare and Medicaid's been defrauded out of. But let's stick with just some of the findings that DOGE has come up with on Social Security. In a couple days, this is it. They haven't even done a deep dive yet, okay? I want to give you this. Right now, according to the Social Security Administration database, there are 20.8 million people collecting Social Security who are supposedly over 100 years old, okay? There's people on the Social Security rolls who are 140 and still getting checks. You know anybody that's 140 years old? I don't. I don't think. Maybe since, I don't know, ever. People don't live that long. So there's fraud, okay? You go on this. In the entire United States, our population, according to the last census, is right around 335 million people, okay? There are 394 million people in the Social Security database. That means we have 60 million people who have Social Security numbers who aren't part of the population. Now, I will give you this. We have expats, okay? There's people that live in the Philippines or Panama or whatever it is that wouldn't be counted in the U.S. Census, that still have a Social Security number, that still can collect their Social Security. I doubt we have 60 million expats. That would be nearly 20% of the population of the entire country. Okay. Why aren't the Social Security rolls being cleaned? Legally, you're supposed to, the individual, report when grandma or grandpa passes away, and therefore that's it. But there's way too many people who like those checks that keep coming in for grandma and grandpa. I've been managing their money for years. I'm still managing their money, and they aren't around anywhere. Isn't it amazing? All these people collecting Social Security, voting Democrat, and they're in the cemetery. Okay. But to talk about how much waste of your money we have, if we do the math on this, $522 billion a year, 1/3 of Social Security spending, is fraudulent. 1/3 of it. 522, $500 billion, guys. We talk about being $36 trillion in debt. Okay? Just straighten this out, and in 72 years, we're out of debt. I know that's an entire lifetime, but it's not ridiculous to state. Okay? Let's talk about all the other stuff. So the next time you get your Social Security statement, or the next time you get your Social Security check, and wonder why all that work you did, all that money you were forced to save, and it looks like such a pittance, start looking at all the reasons it is. Our politicians who spent it all because they put it in the general fund. I mean, what we put in Social Security is so far long gone, it's unbelievable. Okay? Should have been fine. I mean, all in all, if you think about it, Social Security is a socialist program, right? Started by FDR, one of the greatest socialists in the United States. But we were all forced to do it with the promise that we'd have something in our golden years. $1,700. And I'll bet I'm probably going to collect more than a lot of people did. Okay? But $1,700, 20 grand a year ain't squat. Especially with how inflation has crippled us over the last 4 years. Housing prices, car prices, whatever. Then you start looking at our kids, and they're paying Social Security. If this waste keeps going on, our kids are just looking at this going, I'm never buying a house. I'm going to be lucky if I can ever afford a decent car. I'm not going to be able to retire. And you wonder why people are starting to lose their minds. Because our government is the one who's taken away the American dream from people. I talked about a week or so ago about why people spend their whole life wishing it away. You know, you're 18 years old and you can't wait till you turn 65 and can retire. Really? Okay. You know, the goal should be to make enough to retire as soon as you can so you can enjoy life without having to work like crazy. Or at least do something that you just enjoy doing that may make some income rather than slaving away for the man. You know, if you saw the story yesterday, Chase Manhattan Bank is building this beautiful $15 billion new headquarters office. $15 billion. A company, a bank is building that. How does a bank build that? I don't know. With your money, because all that interest that you paid on your mortgage, your credit card, your car payment, yada, 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 is going in their pocket. They're charging you 22% interest or whatever on your credit card and paying you 3% interest in your savings account. Gee, that's a nice little 19% cushion that they're making all over the place, right? That's why I say get out of debt. They got a $15 billion office building while the rest of the country's going, how the hell do I afford rent? Okay. This is the thing. We need to take care of ourselves. All these people bitching about Elon Musk and DOGE, and he's going in and doing all this, and he shouldn't have access to this. The government's got access to all your information anyway, guys. Who cares, all right? You know, you think the government doesn't know your Social Security number? Never filled out taxes? Okay, you got a damn card from the government with your Social Security number, and they're the one that gave it to you, all right? You know, you don't think they know your bank account balance or how much you make? Oh, yeah, they do, because the banks and your employer report it every year. It's called the IRS. Okay. But to go in and find all this waste, I mean, you think about it. Trump has not been president for 1 month yet. I mean, we're a couple of days short. I mean, 4 weeks, yes, okay, we hit that yesterday. But 30 days, we aren't even in there yet. And we're finding trillions. I mean, this number puts it over $1 trillion that they have now found in a month. 3% of our national debt in waste. You wonder why the American dream is getting so hard to live? It's because, as we've said before, it's all feudalistic. The people at the very top are stealing from everybody. The 1%ers, the politicians, the big businessmen are stealing from the rest of the population. They don't need to be taxed more. They need to be audited. Big talk in the last couple of days about one of the things they're going after next is to go audit Fort Knox, because there has not been an audit of the supposed gold in Fort Knox since 1974. Okay? I was 8. Yeah. And practically my entire lifetime, I mean, we're talking more than 50 years since somebody's gone in and said, how much do we actually have here? I mean, do you think that vault has been sealed and never opened? Like I said the other day, I'm waiting for them to go in there and find mice and dust, and that's it. And then you wonder what's going to happen. You look, it had happened. You look at Social Security and think of the waste and the money that's been stolen from you. This is why we prep. If it wasn't for Donald Trump being president, if Kamala Harris got elected, or who knows who gets elected next, if this all just continued to go on, how long till it's $750 billion? $1 trillion a year is fraudulently taken from Social Security. Every one of those people who's cashing a check for grandma that's in the cemetery needs to spend a lot of time in prison, because they're not stealing from the government. They're stealing from you and me and making us work longer or a second job to make ends meet, because those of us that did it the right way are getting screwed by the ones that are cheating the system. And the problem that we have is the cheating the system is primarily being done by the ones that run it. Pinball out.